Well, welcome everybody. Exciting news today. So you have 8 new surgical tables that showed up yesterday. Unfortunately, the buzzkill, they showed up with no pads. The pads are coming. They might throw overnighted for today or first thing next week. So you'll be having pads. But just wanted to walk you through. So functionality, we have a couple different attachments to show you as well. If you have any questions, feel free to cut me off at any time. But these are your beds now, so we're not trialing anymore. These are actually yours. Starting from the bottom and working our way up, starting at the base, we have our weight capacities. If this table is centered over the column, so this table is another sliding bed, much like your Steris 4085, the other Steris sliding bed that you have here. If it is centered over the column, it's 1,100 pounds. If you articulate the table while it is over center, it's 1,000 pounds with slide. So if you were to slide this table 1 inch to the head or 1 inch to the foot, or 9, doesn't matter how much you slide, it drops to 600. So you can kind of keep that number in the back of your mind. That's a 600-pound table. As a reminder, any accessories that you add to the table, whether that's through Steris or others like yellowfin stirrups, whatever you're adding to the table, you always revert to the weight capacity of the accessory. So if the yellowfin has a 300-pound weight capacity, that's now the weight capacity of the whole table. Any questions on any of that? No. To the slide capability. So as I told you, it will slide 9 inches to the head, 9 inches to the foot, and on your hand control, you'll see that it's color coded, which is nice. It is a nursing survey we took into account, so now the most common articulations are going to have a color associated. It's kind of a small thing, but it's not really. It's kind of pretty with a purpose. We get really good feedback on that. So if I were to slide this table, I had it in reverse orientation, I'll show you that in a second. So if I were to slide the table towards the head, you can read on here, it'll tell you exactly where you are. So right now it's slid 7 inches, and then it goes all the way to 9 inches. But you can always look here, it'll tell you exactly where the table is. So that's important when thinking about weight capacity. If I were to slide the table to the foot, you will see that it'll pause for a second at center, just to let you know that it is centered, and then it'll continue on to slide towards the foot. I'll bring it back. Unlocking and locking the table is bottom left. You can see it here. Obviously, best way to do this is to play with this probably between cases, but you just have to hold it. So right now it has a little green symbol, it's locked. To unlock the table, you just hold. It says it's like 3 to 5 seconds. It kind of feels like a little bit. So then you'll hear it. And that is now unlocked, and this will turn yellow in a second. It's a new table. So it's unlocked. Then to relock the table, you hold it, and you'll hear it go again, it'll lock. Our head section. So we have a new dual articulating headrest. So if there's any folks from anesthesia here, this is just another tool in your toolbox for managing difficult airways. So you have, it will go up and down, nothing fancy there. But if I hit this other handle here, it'll articulate the head. Obviously, if you can picture it with a pad, just for, usually you're making a ramp and doing all that. This is just another tool. Transparently, some physicians I work with use it all the time. Some forget it's a feature, but it's just another tool for them. Any questions on anything so far?
What did you push to get that?
Yeah, so there's on the bottom, there's 2 handles. So you have one on the right, that's going to be normal, so people do plus and minus. And then the other handle here, which is the exact same, will articulate.
Oh, so you don't have to use both hands?
No. Turns, and then just bring it back to the center. On the bottom, forgot to mention battery life. So if this table, I know there's big initiatives to get cords off the ground for tripping hazards. If this table is not plugged in, it'll last about 2 weeks under normal usage, is what we call it. However, it's not like an iPhone battery where they tell you if you buy a new iPhone, don't keep it plugged in because it'll hurt the longevity of the battery. Not the case with these beds. So most accounts I work with will just keep it plugged in all the time, or plug in it at night, or weekends, come up with some sort of system that...
Our system is it's plugged in all the time unless it's in the way. And then if it's in the way, it gets unplugged for the wall and left with the bed. not unplugged from the bed and left in the walls, because if the bed gets moved, the cord will get lost. So say you're in Dr. Desio's room, and you have the bed flipped in a certain direction, and you want the cord coming off the foot of the bed, but you don't wanna plug in during the case. Unplug it from the wall, roll up the cord, put it on the base of the bed. Okay, does that make sense? Otherwise, these beds should always be plugged in.
Perfect, there it is. So keep them plugged in.
I'm afraid they'll lose the cords if we leave them
Yeah,
unplugged.
makes sense. Any questions on that? Great. Obviously, we do call it out on here. It says we do not put anything on the base. I know everybody, it's a practice that a lot of accounts do, putting their bear huggers, their arm boards, storing things on the base. These are obviously brand new tables, obviously a huge investment by the facility. They're really robust tables. When I get a call that a table is broken down, it's always because something got sucked in by the shroud. So just keep that in mind. You know, they're obviously a big investment, so I just want to make sure we're protecting them long term. Okay, the other two things I needed to cover today, there's two different attachments to the table that were purchased alongside them. One was, especially for Dr. Desio, a new power-up beach chair for shoulder procedures. Really cool beach chair that we have for this one, so it will fit into the seat section of the bed. And what this means, so basically you remove the leg. Sorry.
Is that any lighter than the other ones?
Yeah, it's our featherweight leg. It's about half the weight of
Awesome.
it's all carbon fiber.
Love it,
yeah.
thanks.
Yep.
So heavy.
Yeah, no, it's a new leg section. So then you want to make sure that it'll fit directly into the receptacles of the seat section of the bed.
So make sure this is level.
Make sure that's level. Yep, correct. This is your new beach chair. So or captain's chair, I think is what you were calling it during the trial period. If you simply add it, put it into the receptacle, sometimes it's a two-person job, then just snap it in, and then seat it. So this is your new captain's chair. The really nice thing is because it fits into the leg section of the bed, is you no longer, like, gone are the days of having to manually raise and lower the patient. You can do it all through the hand control. So on the hand control, you'll see down here next to floor lock, there's looks like there's just two people laying back to back. It's called reverse orientation. So if I hold that, it'll turn to like a yellowish color. And essentially what that means is now this is being treated as the head section of the bed.
Can you show me that one more time? Because
Yeah.
all anesthesia is gonna wanna know how to do it.
Yeah, so let me just take it off of it for a second. So I just put it on.
You put it on the
Step-
foot, yep.
Right now it's in normal orientation, so
Yep.
you see the green button.
So
If I
switch
hold
it.
that, you don't have to technically, but if I hold this, it'll turn yellow.
Yep,
And then you'll see, so now if I were to do back down,
yep,
you'll see that it will lower itself.
okay. And
Um,
it'll orient itself.
And it will, exactly.
It will work in normal orientation
will.
as well. You would just say leg up, leg down.
Okay, could
Exactly.
you do me a favor,
Yeah.
and when you're done with the in-service, leave, put that back on, because I wanna show it to
Absolutely.
anesthesia today.
Yeah, absolutely. So you hit level, our level button does not work in reverse orientation, I
Yes.
always forget that. So then I do back up, we'll bring it back up. So again, it's automated now, which is nice, there's not the physical raising and lowering the patient. It will only work with new Steris sliding beds. So you have two existing Steris sliders, and then obviously the 8 that were recently purchased, so you have a lot of options now, but it will only fit into those tables. It'll go right into the seat section of the bed. Yes?
Is there a weight limit on that?
Yep, so this is a 500-pound weight capacity. Yep. Good question. On the back, you do have the ability to remove, so you have the shoulders like to the operating side, and then adding it back is pretty simple. Just slide it back in. So you can do that, and then it also comes with the face masks to hold the patient's head. There's like 5 boxes of them over there, so you have those as well. And then these are all your gadgets to lock it in place to position the patient's head. Any questions? Yes.
Are there like side rests or kidney rests for this?
Yes, so there is. There's somewhere here, sorry. There's a sidebar that attaches in. It's here. I'll find it afterwards though.
This is your lateral restraint.
Oh, it's here. There it is. Is this what you're describing? There's one here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this slides out this direction, and then you can flip it. And there's two little knobs down here that you twist to tighten it. Okay? Best bet is to honestly play around with this. There's a couple gizmos that maneuver the head section. Best to just test it out and play with it, because there's a couple things back here.
Exactly.
So how are you gonna know the beds that it doesn't fit on?
Yeah. So if it says Steris on the side and it slides, it'll fit.
But you said there's two beds we have it doesn't fit on. How are we
No,
knowing that?
no, your old ones it will fit on. So the
Oh.
We have two
They're-
existing that already fit.
I thought you said it didn't.
No, it
fit.
will. It will.
Okay.
So if it's a Steris table and it slides, it'll
Okay,
fit into the C
thank
section.
you.
Yep.
I'm glad I asked that question.
Yeah. No, it's a good
I'd be
question.
thinking, which two beds is,
Right.
Yeah.
The mystery beds.
yeah.
No worries.
Has Dr. Desio seen the new?
He has.
Okay.
Yes.
He saw it
He
during
used it in the trial as
so-
well.
Yep, he's used it. Any other, good there? So taking it off, simple, just remove a little bit and then it pops right off. And then you can reattach the light section.
And that locked in, when you push it,
It
it
locks
kind of
in, you'll hear
snaps
it,
in?
you'll
Yeah.
hear it click.
So how did you undo it? Do you have to pull
You
it
just
up?
rotate out.
Oh,
And
the
on the
handles
actual
rotate.
chair, it will say where to rotate the.
There's a little sticker there.
But you just rotate it out. Okay. One other attachment to go over. So for urology, we have a urology extension for the bed, and you have two of these. So essentially, what this does is for any type of like, any imaging, say you're bringing a C-arm in for urology or KUBs, this will fit into the seat section as well. That in. So as you can see, it just extends the bed for a C-arm usage. Honestly, for anything urology, GYN, the best practice is, you can use this, if not, always slide the patient towards the foot. It's one of the benefits of a sliding table. Oh, we're in reverse orientation stuff in the beach chair. So if I slide towards the foot, this is how you'll get the best access. The base is actually 2 inches shorter, so it's just increased. And then that's 9 inches, so you can see you have great access from the foot of the bed. And then also, really meant to be used, it's a general table, so side rails and things like that will show up on a C-arm. However, it's made to be used with a C-arm. So you have a nice streamlined base, a narrower column, and you can see the window from the column out. It's actually, for a general table, it has the largest imaging window of any general table on the market. So give you 43 inches of imaging window on upper and lower body. So you put that in, and then this is your transfer board that it comes with. This fits into the other side of this, and then this tightens down. So, once you have the patient positioned up in the stirrups, this can be removed, and then you're off and running, and then reattached when you're taking the patient off. Yes.
Since the bed gets shorter, is it still 500 pounds when there's
Yep,
no
so
ball?
this is a 500-pound, yes, correct. Except for if you add stirrups, obviously it's always the lowest weight capacity, so whatever, I don't work for Yellowfin, so I don't know what their weight capacity is, but whatever their weight capacity is, if it's lower than 500 pounds, that would be the weight capacity of the table. Any other questions? We can stick around for a bit also.
So
if there's-
is there any hand controls on the bottom of the bed in
Yeah,
case?
for backup.
In case it does that.
So that's
and
gonna
this
be in
doesn't
here.
work.
So there is a hand control in there that looks identical to this, except for there's no colors. And this is actually a foot pump. So you actually have to hold the articulation and pump. It's a hydraulic table, so hopefully you don't have to use that ever, but all tables have to.
So you say there's a
backup.
hand piece under
Yeah,
there too?
I can see if I can get it out. If you see, it's another hand control. So if I were to, say I want to unlock the table, or let's do trend, just so that I hold it down, trend, and you'll see it's again, it's to get you out of a pinch.
Yeah, it's for like power outage
I hope
situation.
you never have to do that, but all tables have to have a battery backup like that legally. It's a little bit of a pain to put back in, so I'll spare you the sweat. But
It's easier than getting a patient off the table that won't move.
That's the truth.
I've done that.
Yeah, there you go. Honestly, it doesn't get used I knock on wood, haven't really seen it used, but it's there, it's available. Any other questions? Like I said, we can stick around also. Yes?
Could you show the flex feature of
Yeah.
that bed? Because some of the bed has to be a certain lineup before you can flex the bed.
Yeah. So if you hit any button on this, it will disable this, so you just have to give it a second. Okay. The table will not articulate if the table is unlocked. It's a safety mechanism. So I'll lock it again. Let me just bring it back to center. Let me actually just take these little measurements. When you're attaching the leg section, there's a green line on here. Always make sure when you reattach the leg that it fits all the way to the grain. This means it's completely seated. So on here there is a flex and reflex button. So it's protecting itself from the outside. So now if I hit flex, it's the same side of the head. It'll go, there we go. I don't know why I was doing that. And it'll slowly but surely, it's a hydraulic table, so only one section can move at the same time, but it will. You can crack your back that way too, it's nice. And then, there is a kidney elevator on here as well, so it will raise here, so if you want to get some extra flex, it'll give you about 4 inches of additional flex. Bring it back to level. One other feature I just wanted to cover, because it does come up, is we have something called auto limit sensing in the bed. So essentially, it will protect itself from itself. And I'll show you what I mean. So if I were to, in this case, lower the leg section, so I bring the leg down, and I were to slide the table towards the head, you will see that normally this would cause there would be a collision point here. It will stop itself and say leg up, ALS, auto limit sensing. So if you're ever in a procedure and you're trying to have the table do something for you and it won't do it, look here. A lot of times that's where a quick fix is. So now it just says, put your leg up, and then it'll allow you to continue to slide. It will not sense, though, third-party objects. So if you have a bear hugger on the base or you have a kick bucket down here, it will collide with a third party. It doesn't sense that. That's everything. But again, happy to stick around, answer any questions, but enjoy the new beds. They're yours.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank